I'm Mateo, and I'm sitting with Julia Fuller. She is, how would you describe yourself? An artist living in Chicago? Near Chicago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an artist, so yes, I'm an artist living in Chicago with a background in, an international background, partially growing up in America, partially in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that base happening where I'm kind of divided between two homes. Mm-hmm. And I've traveled a lot in my past, and I've taken a lot of time to understand healing and health, and I really care about that in my work as a subject matter.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you because you have like a really interesting history abroad, not only through your like studies, but also like through your family.
Yeah.
You have roots.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, could you tell me any more about that?
I could. I definitely. There's like a certain word that people use for like artists who have like a dual kind of background where they've just been stretched, but I mean they're just coming in with these different sort of like flavors into their work, and Norway, like the Norwegian or the Scandinavian art culture has had a big impact on me in my work, where I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from like the moody landscapes that I saw there, and just from the work I've seen there in general in their paintings. I'm using a lot of like phthalo blues or Prussians.
Yeah.
The raw umber and stuff like that. I'm just getting like these kind of like these kind of tinted blacks and whites and working with just those like the high contrast. And a lot of there's like figurative work, but it's figure in an environment in an open expanse and kind of like a nothingness. And I feel like that that really it's like Scandinavian expressionism in a way. But it's like this muted expressionism where it feels kind of it's something very melancholic about it. So I think that comes from like the Norwegian winters, which are really dark. But I definitely I've taken that and I've taken it into my own like American work where it's a little bit more contemporary and colorful, like batches of like little bits of color or something. But I don't know. Yeah.
I have to say that description works very well because I definitely see all of that in your work, and yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Oh, cool.
Like Scandinavian sensibilities in an American
little
framework.
Yeah.
Do you always do figurative things?
For the most part, because I just think that people are like my most interesting like subject matter to work with. I really like the human psyche and why we do things and like what we're feeling and experiencing and like pain.
Nice.
Yeah. Pain and searching for identity. And working through trauma. Those seem to be like some really big elements that I'm working with right now. So through high school I was really on this I was really working with the hunt for identity, and purpose, and like breakthrough, and wandering. So
do you think your work has always been autobiographical?
What does that mean?
Like you. Like it resonates with you. What's happening with you?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, me or somebody else. Somebody else's like sad story of what they're going through. So, yeah. But a lot of it is just like what I don't know, my own experience of going through life as like a suburban white woman.
But still so much more.
But like
I have to say.
That, but like with the mental health issues that we really deal with in America, being in this like rat race and being at like the top of the hierarchy, of needs and stuff, and when you get into the space of like self-actualization, like what are what's the pain that lingers there too, and so we deal with a lot of like depression and anxiety, and also like, just this identity thing.
It's like the battle that isn't being fought in the lower tiers.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing it.
Yeah, and it's really sad. It's really sad. In a way, it's like it's harder. It's hard. It's almost equally hard as the other things. So. I'm so medicated. I hate to say it, but I mean, in this season, I am. Trying to beat the pressure, all the pressure and all the expectations and the hatred even for my privilege of like what I don't know, like why I deserve to be in this position at all. It makes no sense. I'm like, I feel bad.
I don't know personally if like your upbringing has anything to do if you deserve it or not. Because there are plenty of people who don't deserve what's happening to them, bad things that are happening to them, and like, I wouldn't guilt yourself too much.
Yeah.
Because of where you were born. Yeah. And I see that happening a lot in society today. And I just think there's a lot of self-hate that is not necessary.
I am trying to avoid like that whole white guilt thing though too, and it's a silly battle that goes on and off, but it does make for an interesting, like a really interesting perspective. It's like being a white woman, like a white artist, and what does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Like what kind of like you just have a really interesting position. Still,
yeah,
it's kind of challenging and weird, but
and I think it's your position. You know, it's yours, and you shouldn't fight with it. You know.
Yeah.
I am a religious person, and I think like God made you a white woman artist.
Yep.
Deal with it.
I believe in God too.
Yeah.
And,
I
know that He thinks like stuff's hard and life's hard and.
But this is what I gave you, so go do good with it.
Yeah. Try to take from like what he's teaching and spread that. That's why I really like to focus on healing and inner healing, because I know that that's like regardless of like where you're at in life and like what you have, like you can achieve that. Just like at least just like knowing that you deserve that, like wholeness and like to be loved, and that you're like and to be known. And that you do have an identity and you have a purpose. Like those are things that I strongly believe in. I call them kind of universal truths.
Yeah.
I'd say that I believe in is like
I think you should definitely believe in your universal truths. Everyone should. Just so you don't waver too much. And I think there are some dangers in like doing too much introspection and questioning absolutely everything about you, because then you might think that some things were a curse, some things were on accident. But I don't subscribe to that belief. I think everything was purposeful.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't feel guilty. You're here, and you should do good with what you have, what you were given.
Yeah. I don't know if I 100% believe in that in a way, which is, is like to everything happening for. Well, I believe everything does end up happening. Life happens, and I think that we can take from it.
Yes.
I don't. I'm at a hard point where I'm believing that, like everything is set up and that it does happen for a reason. I think that things happen, and then, but there's always some goodness that can be pulled that ends up getting drawn. Like whether you want it or not, it just happens.
Maybe this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Here are your opportunities to pull good from it.
Yeah.
And you should take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah. I think so. Or like watch them be handed to you, even when it's. Even when you can't Like watch the world kind of take care of you because it's there. And I think God is like through everything, and God is there, and he wants to pursue you like nonstop. I don't know. I believe in goodness.
Yeah.
I can, unfortunately, I have to say that now because I'm at a good place in life, and that's why I'm like, but you know, it's not that way all the time. But I think that in the end, like this world isn't 100% bleak, and sometimes you just have to get through every day. But it's still worth it.
Yeah.
There's something good on the other side if you can get through your years or months. Maybe it's just days of like deep like.
That's very interesting to hear from you because like looking at your work, you might initially think like, oh, that does look really bleak. It does look really dark.
Yeah.
But there's also some sort of warmth that I find, or love, a familiarity that I see in your work, where I know that there's care. Like they're not scary images.
Yeah.
Which I think is very interesting.
I really love that can be observed, though, from the outside. I never know if I'm you don't know if you're like hitting your demographic with your message, if people are able to
people are reading it.
Yeah,
how you're
in the
writing
way
it.
that you're but I don't want them to be happy.
Right.
And like all like it's kind of like the Psalms, like in the Bible, where people are just literally just crying out from their pain.
Yeah.
And they're in these really dark holes. And but by like most of the ends of the Psalms, they're like for every psalm there's kind of like a hope in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few Psalms where there's like no hope, and I think that's important to acknowledge too. I really care about, like, I can really see into hopelessness, into darkness. Like I so empathize with mental health and just like the bleakness of life that's there. But I just, like, I want that border. I want to know people's pain, and I want to enter into that, and I want to like identify with my own deeply. But I come at it from a place of like deep empathy and love, like an overflowing love.
So you're not completely giving yourself to the pain.
No.
You can still.
I don't think I ever. I don't want to. I certainly don't want to. I certainly don't want to completely give up. I think it's because I was, I have had connections, like a spiritual connection through my life with something higher, with something else. I felt that. I felt like that deep wholeness, and I felt, I call that presence God, or Yahweh. I like that term a lot, just to, like that Heavenly Father. And it's not all happy. Oh,
hi.
We're interviewing.
Oh, it's okay. Ooh.
For him. This is for
Thank
him.
you.
It didn't. It could have been bigger had more time.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Sorry.
It's okay, Mom.
It's a sweet bun. I was handed a sweet bun.
Yes, Mateo was handed it. It's called a bolla.
Lola?
Bolla. Yeah, it's like a Norwegian little sweet roll.
It's warm.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Like a cardamom thing.
Hi.
Oh.
Yeah,
Have you seen her today?
She greeted me.
Oh, she wants to sit by you. That's cute.
Okay.
Oh, it's because you have food. That's
yeah,
why.
Probably.
Oh, I thought she wanted.
Or she loves me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Anyway, so like this is the truth I want to communicate. I think that we're all capable of connecting with this, like that spiritual, that whether you want to call it the universe or whatever. I think that there's like that connection there. I think there's a deep love and a hope, and I believe that presence doesn't care if you're happy all the time or prosperous or whatever. It's like it just wants to see you in your pain and just like know that you're, like, tell you that you're loved and that you're safe, because I felt that. And that's the only thing that I really believe in that's like real in life, is just like this is the thing I can fall back on. without judge, like this thing doesn't judge me or whatever. But I just, so, guess what? My work is literally like a message.
What?
You know, like it's kind of like my mission work in a way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
To that extent. I called it, for a while. I'm like, yeah, I'm a missionary.
Uh-huh.
And like, that's my mission, is to kind of show you that like
that relationship exists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, just and like ultimately, there's a being that like really deeply wants to like stretch into your pain with you and just like hold you.
They're like visual songs.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow. Have you always believed that?
No.
No.
It's new. It's kind of more new. Because because God was like that 3-letter word God, like there's God and that's it, and you have to live by rules if you want to like have a good prosperous life. It's kind of like that karmic prosperity gospel sort of thing. I grew up in the Christian faith. I grew up in the Christian faith and the classic American evangelical landscape, and moving onward, I took this different like international approach through a program that I was in, and I was hearing like just speakers who just come in and talk about God from all over the world, and I felt something deeper starting there. It was just more connection and spiritual, but it actually took going through a big season of like deconstructing everything I know about God, which I'm kind of in the process in still, deconstructing all of that, and then rebuilding up this thing that's actually like a lot more beautiful and sacred.
I think religion should be personal.
Yeah.
And if you can make it yours, that's even better than just, eating what was put on your plate.
Definitely. I think it has to be an individual relationship. But so anyway, a lot of my work, I'm honestly, I'm pretty secretive. Yeah. I'm very, very secretive, I suppose, about my, my meanings and my work, like in that, or just talking about the whole spiritual side of what I do. But that's... I would
have never known. So it wasn't like written.
No, it's not. And I don't want it to. Mm-mm. I really want to just come from the, underground.
It's very subtle.
Yeah. Like in that way. Because I'm not really, it just lives through me. I don't really have, like, an agenda.
That's good.
So that's why, I suppose. But, not out to get you.
No.
Snatch you and convert you or anything.
There's a cross hidden somewhere in this.
And you will.
You'll find it and you'll know.
Yeah. It's more like, let's have, we can talk about it. But hopefully this just gives you hope. I want to just leave, like, these presents of hope.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I guess my next question is, what sort of motifs and symbols do you use? If you use symbols in your work.
It's funny because actually I do put crosses in my work.
I was kidding.
I know. Like I'll just make like if I'm doing like scratchy work.
Yeah.
I'll kind of put like a.
Oh, you sly dog.
But just like I don't know if I know that person is of faith,
I'll
probably usually do that. But I also, all I want to do is bless people, and so if I can, like I don't know. It's a it doesn't. I don't know. It's not a big thing, honestly. But, I don't know. The symbolism comes into like home, like little like houses.
Yeah.
I believe in that. I like having that in my work. Just it's very symbolic actually. A lot of my like when I'm making something, it's very heavily symbolic.
Is it like not just figures?
No.
That are symbolic.
No.
It can be colors or anything.
Honestly, like
shapes.
The figures are almost the least symbolic.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's snowing. They symbolize
no, you're joking. Is
no,
it snowing?
now it's getting like wetter, but it's it's like kind of heavy.
Oh my god.
Isn't that funny?
No.
No. Yeah, see. But like I have that one painting of like with the hair, the long hair. So I have this painting where it's this woman and she has like long black hair, and it's these two figures who are very separated apart. One of the figures is crouching down on a little stool and turning back in hesitancy, And the other figure is like this older figure who's just calmly kind of like about to cut this girl's hair, this girl's long hair. There's a cat that's underneath the older figure, and it's yowling, like in this like kind of snarl at the first character, and the first character is staring at that cat, and just but on the other side of that woman are those house symbols. But what the whole thing is talking about is the fear of vulnerability, and that fear of intimacy, of opening up your heart to somebody and to yourself, honestly, of the deep like traumas that exist in your life from your past, and that can be some of the most vulnerable, painful stuff to look through, to trust somebody with. But and we tend to fixate on that fear. But on the other side of it is community and love and home. So it's kind of like a transaction in this piece, and it's a narrative where this figure is scared, but she's letting it happen anyway because she wants to trust. Another thing is like hair is one of the most protected or like sacred things to us, like to women, is to like I was reading into like Native American culture, Polynesian culture, and you know the longer you grow out your hair, like it's just a symbol, it's a story, and you never cut it unless you are going through deep grief, or if you lose a battle or something. And I mean, it's kind of like what we do today. You know, you like girls like want to, you know, they'll get a whole different hairstyle if they're like go through a breakup.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, and I just find that fascinating, like hair, like what we.
It really does
our connection
change
to it,
you.
so.
I think.
Yeah, it does. So that's why I use hair in the piece, because it's that ultimate symbol of something really precious. So the whole story is just like be vulnerable. Be vulnerable, guys. Be vulnerable. It's good. I like to do messages like that when I can be really intentional. Definitely. Or identity, and I have a little baby painting.
That one was in my head the whole time.
That's so funny, yeah.
Like this whole interview, I'm just thinking about that baby.
No way.
Yeah. I love that one.
That's another long story, I guess, about just like identity, and like I was just deeply crying on my mission. On that program that I was in. And, you know, some, like, this old, like, kind of gypsy woman, she called herself that. Sorry, I know that the term gypsy can be a little, you know, but she was like because she would just travel a lot, and she had this beautiful accent and stuff. And so she came up to me, and she was just, like, you know, rubbing my back and asking me, like, how old am I right now while I'm crying? And she's like, how old are you when you cry? Like, what is that rooting to? And I'm like, I know I'm 5 right now. And she's like, maybe... like, there's a little girl in you, and where is she? You know, she's buried. I don't think she's really, like, come to the surface. And I thought about that for a long time. And we bury ourselves, like, with high school. Like, with all the pain that we go through in high school, and with trauma. Big ones and little ones. Like, little things. Like, some just... you know, things your mom said over the years, or something a boyfriend did, or a girlfriend, or, you know, any partner, or whatever. It's like, I mean, just the world kind of buries you and forces you to kind of, like, shut down your naivete and your playfulness, like your silliness. And you have to be a square from now on. And, or you have to, like, I don't know, be the hottest guy in school, and you have to get all these babes, and you can't be, like, feminine at all. You can't show that side of yourself at all. Like, God forbid you ever, like, get, like, a manicure, or, like, paint your nails, or, like, I don't know, give your friend a hug.
Yeah.
So that's why I made that baby painting, because I realized that I needed to come out of that hole. And so it's like this baby that's frozen, that's just being dug up, and there's, like, a California poppy, actually, in her hand. Because that's, like, a symbol of, like, my personality. Because it's it's my favorite flower. Or it has been, you know, and that color and everything. So it's just, like, a bit of hope in life. And, like, so I love that one, too. Because that also communicates a message. Like, a lot of people were, like, able to connect to it. And, like, actually be like, whoa, like, I think I killed my inner child. Like, I talked to an Uber driver about it. And he's like, whoa. And that turned him around a little. And I love that. I want to be a healer. Like, I want to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that. So, long stories, but...
Motifs.
Motifs?
Motifs?
What do you mean?
Like the symbols.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into what the word motifs mean.
I guess it's
like
a figure or a pattern or a symbol, something that appears in your work maybe multiple times.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm figuring it out now still, but yeah. That's what I like. It takes time. Anyway, sorry, it's a lot. I'm talking so much.
This is great. Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
What is your greatest dream?
Oh, that's so cute. I want to completely, like, own myself and just only be dependent on that higher power. But I don't want anybody to own me. I literally will rebel, with violence if anybody tries to tie me down into anything or cage me. Like, I will go at it. Like, I won't stop, until, I can be really free. So I love, I love classical feminism in that regard. Hate being a woman, trying to travel and, being bound to, as, a sexual object or whatever. So I'd love to I want to own myself completely. I want to be able to travel. For a dream, I want to be a traveling artist. I want to be a traveling photographer. I would love to be able to have the money to do that. Not anything, fancy. I just want to, have heart-to-hearts and encourage people and to promote healing. I want to be an old medicine woman. That's my dream.
Yeah.
Is just promoting healing and to set. Somebody had a prophecy for me, and that I would be a healer, and that I was going to set caged birds free. And he didn't really know what it meant, but he was really connected to God, and he really he called me up in front of the classroom, and he was like, "You do you make up are you a painter?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I know." And it's just interesting because my life is really unfolded into that. I love that. That there's no bigger dream for me than to set people who are so constricted into what the world or what some people it's religion and laws. I mean, it's really different, obviously, for certain people. For that one, because I know that's it's so intimate, it's so special for people. But anything, I want to promote freedom and health and love. So
that's it. That's all.
That's all. I'm just gonna
save the world.
I'm just gonna change the world.
I think that's a fantastic dream.
Thanks.
I really do.
Thank you.
Are there any artists that you admire?
Oh, that's cute as heck. I love all your questions. You're so good at this.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna have to think for a second. But let me look on my phone for a second.
Yeah.
I actually screenshot all these different little artists that I like. I love all artists inspire me. They're so good.
Or I guess
a favorite to look at or to be inspired by. Or okay, let me see.
Is there anyone whose work really resonates with you?
That's so hard because I don't know if I have found someone. I don't think I found someone yet, and that's sad.
It's okay.
In that deep kind of meta way, no, but I like certain styles about certain artists.
Or even movements that you like.
I mean, modernism is fabulous. Just that whole process of deconstructing what art should be, because that's so freeing. Yeah, that was just like a big, overall, it's just a big push away from like perfectionism.
Yeah.
And, I live for that stuff.
That's great. I mean, it seems like something that you would be very attracted to.
Damn, I'm gonna forget her name. Well, anyway, I went to a contemporary museum of art in Chicago, and that was the only. I went there once, and that was the only time I've been in an art museum and actually cried from the work. Because I just didn't know art could be so playful and silly and exciting and sensory, and I don't feel like it's ever been that way until now.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's too bad I didn't write her name down, but there was this one artist who came into town. I think I talked to you about it. It's like
you
did. Ponytail and freaking.
I just don't remember the name. That's okay.
So she that really got me because it was very childlike in certain extremes, and people were working with all kinds of beads and like sparkles and like dancing, and I love it. I love performance. I love like all those. I mean, I love those mediums where like just deep, passionate expression. People are so smart. Artists can be. I mean, they're so smart. They're so wonderful. Like just the big artists of today. I think anybody that's in the museum. I don't know. I like contemporary work.
Yeah. Okay, great. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you define muse?
What the term muse means?
To you. And do you have one?
Yes. I have a muse. Mateo.
Oh, come on.
I mean, look at those beautiful face. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I can I think it's like a fixation.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say like what an artist is really. It's usually it's like been a person. For me, it's actually my sister. So she's been my muse like my entire life, and I've always just painted her and drawn her. She's just so fascinating and beautiful to me, and she's really delicate in some extremes, but also really she's a bad bitch.
Nice.
At the same time. And so in those two ways, like I want it to be noted that she's a bad bitch.
Yes. Okay. Let the record show.
Let the record show that she's a bad bitch, but with but delicate and sensitive, and she can just kind of go between these things. So she's a little storm, and I just she's my younger sister, and I just adore her. She's my most favorite person in the world. She's very silly too at sometimes. So I really have liked photographing and recording like her adolescence, her journey through into being an adult.
And I think that's a very wonderful gift to give to someone, to show them where they came from, who they've been.
And just how beautiful she is.
Let the record show she is quite beautiful. Truly. I think that's funny because muse is very classically defined as like a feminine energy that inspires an artist.
Interesting.
It's almost always feminine.
Yeah. I do. Okay, let the record show. I'm like that. I'm one of those people. I'm like, I want to draw women.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They're so there's just something. It's so inspiring.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a God thing that he planted in women.
Isn't that crazy?
Or that it can be unlocked in every person in this sort of way. But I love the shape of women.
Exactly.
Everything.
There's something so inspiring about them.
I'm trying to explore that more.
Like they are the arts. Like they have always been, good or bad, an object of beauty. And I've actually been considering looking into the flip side. Like, why aren't men considered beautiful.
And is this like a patriarchal thing where we're just seeing like women as these objects?
I don't know.
But it's like I don't want
But
to
also it's
neglect
instinctive.
It's instinctive, but I also just don't want to neglect it. Like
you shouldn't say like, okay, this has been long enough. Sit down.
Yeah, I was like talking to me right now about this interview.
No. No. You know what? I'm bored.
You know what? We're done.
We disagree about muses, guys.
No, that is such a big topic, and I want to look into that more though.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should really.
Like I've tried doing more art with men as the figures, and I think it's rewarding. I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a road normally taken.
Yeah.
At least not, in the popular art world.
Yes. I do make genderless figures though as well.
Oh yeah.
In my more like abstract work. Do you want some more tea?
Sure. Yeah.
In my more abstract work, and in a lot of my bird people.
Oh, bird people?
I forgot about bird people. Bird people are a big thing. Oh no, baby.
That's fine. I don't need too much. We're out of tea.
We're out of tea. My birds are like those caged things. Like they're these symbols of
people waiting
freedom.
to be set free.
People waiting to be set free, and people going through. And like they're aggressive.
They are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like I don't know.
They look so timid.
For me, they.
I don't know what they say.
They're like little self-portraits. I think of like aggressively trying to be free, and they're always like naked.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah, they're bare and exposed. And
I'm a big fan of nudity in art because I think it is. The tea is quite cold, but I think human bodies are so beautiful. Like they're my favorite figures. Like I base almost all of my art around humans. They're my favorite subject, and so I think it's such an honor to like try to do justice to your own species, in your art. It's so beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah. I feel like that's what maybe like artists are always trying to do, is they're always trying to like make sense of the beauty around them and to try to get it down. And it's like this never-ending, like just ferocious, like design, like want, like a deep, just. But it's like
it's never enough. You can't ever draw naked people enough.
No, it's like that white caribou that's like, like that you're always trying to like hunt down in the woods or whatever, and it just
That's so funny.
It slips away.
I must know, like. Are there plenty of caribou in Scandinavia?
Yes, caribou and like reindeer.
And I'm saying like I know that motif as like the white stag.
The white stag.
Yeah,
that's what.
But like
yeah.
where you're from, it's the caribou.
Yeah,
that's great.
Oh no, it's a stag. I just forgot the name.
Oh well,
that's funny.
There's probably a white caribou that someone's looking for.
You know what they have? You know what I really like though in mythology? I've grown up like really liking like fantasy little. I like mermaids.
I'm a huge nerd. Yeah.
I like mermaids and I like the Norwegian Hulda. Hulda. So it's like these women.
Yeah.
Of the forest, and there's but also with mermaids, they're just like these wild things.
I love nymphs. So
that
much.
too, and they're just so beautiful and mysterious, and you're captivated.
Yeah.
And same with these Hulda, they're these like really seductive women of the woods, but they have a long tail like a cow's, and they're actually these troll women. This is what I've grown up learning.
Yeah, they're out there.
They're out. Yeah, they're out there. They're gonna get you. They're gonna suck you in. And guess what? But the thing is, they I don't know. There's just these troll women who want to be your wife, and they'll be the best wife ever. And if you get married to them in a church, their tail will fall off, and they will be the best wives ever. But then they get really, really old, and they live for hundreds of years, and they can take off their head, and they can like carry it under their arm and scare people, and they're really ugly and scary. It's like that, or they'll take you down into their like troll like places and then like layer, and you have to live there with them and stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, and then for sirens, like for those mermaids, like it's all just like this sham.
It's all a sham.
It's all a sham. They're gonna lure you in and like eat you or whatever, or kill you.
Yeah.
I like them.
I
like that idea.
All of those like seductive female creatures that
are just out there to like
they're just
tease
out there,
you, and they're actually smarter than you.
Yeah.
And like they're out there with their own agenda.
They out there with their
they
own
don't
agenda.
give a yeah.
Oh.
So that's like another thing where I'm just like, oh, you just hunted down. Anyway,
what were we talking about?
You were talking about muses.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, but that's another muse.
Exactly. It's
Hulda.
Like
Hulder.
Hulder. Hilda.
It'll be on the
Hilda.
like holder.
Hulda.
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 Good.
Hulda. Like holder?
Holder.
Oh,
nice.
that's holder.
Yeah, that's holders. Holdras.
Hulda.
Hulda. It's weird. It's like
Yeah. Hulda.
Yeah.
Hulda.
Yeah.
Hulda.
Hulda. I'm kind of that's like another thing. I don't know. That's another word for it, I guess. Like
wow.
Yeah. I like those.
So.
I was gonna do one for Halloween, but that means I'd have to like
be naked.
Yeah. I was like.
Also, it's freezing here. You'll die.
Like a morph suit. Oh my God.
I'm a Hulda.
I'm naked, kind of.
You're just like a skin-colored morph suit with a cow tail, and
yeah.
they're like, "What are you?"
And I'll be like, "Booby." With that sharpie.
What are you?
Yeah.
I'm a Hulda.
Hulda. Oh. Let the record show that I am not fluent in Norwegian, but I can just make some of the sounds.
Well, it sure sounds like it, you know. Great. You did it very well, I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Is
that it?
I mean, that's pretty much all I've had.
Awesome.
Written down.
We've gotten through a lot.
Yeah, this has been very successful.
Great. Awesome.
Great. Okay.
I did it.
Once again, Mateo Herrera sitting down with Julia Fuller. What an interesting girl.
This is NPR.
This is NPR.
America's All Things Considered. Yeah.
This. Yeah. Any sign off you wanna give?
This is my moment. This is my moment. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, insert footnotes.
Okay, so my birth name is Julia Signe Fuller, but my artist name I just go by Julia Signe or J Signe. That's the.
Her friends call her JJ.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Sometimes people call me Signe. I like that. So that's all.
Just so you know, look for her.
Julia Signe, Signe. It's like sign.
With an E.
Yeah, with an E at the end. Sorry, it's complicated. Anyway.
You'll figure it out.
Ta-ta.